the way that I found out what joy felt like in my body was that it was actually really constant. It was something that actually was so sourced from within. And that was how I differentiate, because I used to call myself a happiness chaser. And we know that that's just, the worst route to go down, because
chasing it.
So I would chase happiness in the form of travel, in the form of, exciting adventures, debauchery, whatever that is. I love a good debauchery session. So I admit it. This is a very human thing, I'm not going to be all prudish and high and mighty and righteous. Like, that's just not me. But we're human. We're here to enjoy and have the human earthly experiences, right?
Welcome to the Enlighten podcast, the enlightened journey of life. Because we're not just here to chase enlightenment, we are here to live life, to embody all aspects of ourselves, to bring the sacred into every day. I'm your host, Jen Hamilton, self-mastery mentor, tantra guide, and sacred rebel at heart. This podcast is a devotion to the art of knowing thyself. Through solo snippets, raw musings, and deep conversations with epic guests, we explore the sacred, the sensual, and the spiritual, diving deep into self-exploration and always leaving you with something to take away. This isn't just a podcast, it's a portal to awaken, to liberate, to remember who you truly are. It is an honor to have you here. Let's get enlightened. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Enlighten podcast. I'm your host, Jen, and my very special guest today is Andrea Fung. Andrea is a former lawyer turned quantum performance strategist for ambitious professionals and soulful entrepreneurs ready to lead from alignment, not burnout. With 6 years in the legal sector, Andrea understands firsthand the high-pressure environments that lead even the most successful individuals to feel unfulfilled, disconnected, or stuck. Now she guides them to sustainable peak performance by clearing the hidden energetic and subconscious blocks that traditional coaching often misses. Blending her expertise as a certified NLP practitioner, ThetaHealing and Origin Activation practitioner, Andrea supports her clients in unlocking the energy, clarity, and fulfillment they've been searching for, not by doing more, but realigning with who they truly are beneath the titles, pressure, and performance. Her work is less about chasing success and more about activating purpose, power, and presence, so life, business, and leadership become deeply fulfilling again. We had so much fun on this episode. You would think that Andrea and I had knew each other for lifetimes, but this was our first time meeting for this interview, and it was like kindred spirits being reunited. We had so much fun, and I'm so excited for you to hear it. So without further ado, let's dive in. Hello, welcome to another episode of the Enlighten podcast. I am joined by beautiful Andrea here at 11:11 in the morning.
It's just divine timing, Jen. Divine timing.
We've been talking a lot off air as well about sort of some current situations in the world, and we've realized we're probably the same person. We have a lot of the same views.
Yes.
So I'm so excited to dive into chatting with you today because you do some cool shit in this world. So you're a quantum performance coach, strategist. Yes. Oh, so close.
It's okay. It was just one word off.
Just one word off. And you've come like full circle from like a corporate lawyer career, dancing in the space of spirituality, coming back around to working in corporate. Tell us about your journey that's brought you here today.
Oh, that was a really, really long journey, Jen. Where do you want me to start? Okay, so basically let's start with, so I grew up in a very Asian family household. So you're either a professional or you're nothing at all. and because in the name of defying social conventions, I'm also horrible at math, despite being Chinese. So I thought out of engineer, doctor, investment banker, actual scientist, or lawyer, I think lawyer was probably the best bet.
Yes.
Naturally. So when I started that journey, my first 3 years of law, I was doing family law, domestic violence, and child protection. So that was quite heavy for me. And I knew that it wasn't really what I wanted to do, but I didn't know how to venture. I was too scared to venture into the unknown to find out what it is that I did want to do. So after the first 3 years, I was made redundant. And on that same day that I was made redundant, I booked my flights to Brazil. Didn't shed a single tear.
Bye.
Yeah, bye, Felicia. And so I went traveling for like 8 months, South America, Europe, UK, hoping to find career inspiration, finding none of that, but everything else. So I came back and I thought, well, I got bills to pay, I guess. Gotta get back into law again, right? But this time I didn't want to go into something so emotionally heavy. So I thought, let's do wills and estates. It's kind of like an in-between. So within those 3 years, I had the most amazing boss. I had the most amazing work environment. My work colleagues were great. The client to paperwork ratio was perfection, honestly. There is no reason to leave. It was so perfect. And I had the most amazing, thriving social life, right? And then when the pandemic hit and I was mainly at home by myself, I couldn't see my friends. I couldn't do all the things which I now realize balanced everything else out. And I thought, I can't do this anymore. And that was really, really scary, because one thing that you need to know about lawyers, we don't do vulnerability. We don't do emotions, and we don't do uncertainty either. And before we, as part of our job, before we make any kind of decision moving forward, we have to know what is the end result. Otherwise, we don't make that move. Yeah. So it's one thing if I knew that I was working in a career that I wasn't happy with, but I knew actually where I wanted to go. But the thing that made it extra scary was I didn't know where I wanted to go. I didn't. So to leave this beautiful workplace, this stable career, to venture into I don't know is really, really scary. But I thought to myself, one thing that I do know for certain though, is if I stayed, I would be miserable. I was falling into depression. So I thought, let's go out. Let's see what else is out there. Maybe if I can give myself a 50% chance that I might hit something, that's worth it. So you know what was the first job? What freedom looked like to me was to become a bikini influencer.
Oh, I love that. Yes. I mean, freedom, no clothes. I get that.
Yeah, freedom, no clothes, coconuts in the sun, all traveling all around the world. That was the dream. I had so many photos of me in various bikinis in various beaches.
How did that go down with your family? Or they didn't know?
Oh, they knew. I had to call in my now ex-husband. He's my best friend still, by the way. So he sat there with me and he backed me up, really, honestly, when I was telling my parents about it. And, they was like saying, you shouldn't have gone. This is why you separated from Rob. And Rob was like, I wanted her to go. Yeah. I wanted her to live her dream. I wanted her to find her freedom. And if law is not for her anymore, then that is her decision. And I support her. And having him there back me on this, because I felt like I was always the black sheep of the family. Yeah. I felt I was in a really vulnerable moment, and having him there back me the whole way, that is invaluable. I to this day, cannot thank him enough for backing me always against my family, because we were so different. And so I just kept following the breadcrumbs, following what brought me joy at any given moment. And if something did not make me happy or bring me the utmost joy that I could perceive at the time, then I'm not doing it. So that went to social media influencer, to social media manager, to digital nomad coaching, to mindset coaching, to eventually learning NLP. And I hired this trance channeler to channel the Arcturians for me. And she introduced ThetaHealing to me. And from that point onwards, that was how I came to be. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing. I did ThetaHealing years and years ago. Life-changing. Yeah. It's incredible.
It is. And it's like 10 years of therapy in 1 year. Done.
Yeah.
Honestly. And it was so life-changing for me, because especially because I could not have researched any of this, because I didn't know it existed. When I got into personal development in end of 2020, early 2021, I didn't even know that coaches outside of soccer coaches existed. Yeah. You know what I mean? So what more energy healing? What more this spiritual, esoteric space? What more, galactic families and stuff like that? So if it wasn't presented to me on a silver platter, which all of them were, I would never never
Yeah.
know that this was a space. And so it's just, it's a really, really magical journey. Really.
Yeah. And like going from lawyer, like you said, other end of the spectrum, right into like energy healing, like woo-woo, esoteric, like that's a journey within itself. Do you feel as though, like once you decided to leave law and like, fuck it, I'm traveling the world, I'm becoming a bikini model, influencer, all of that, were you looking for things outside of yourself? Do you feel like, was it a journey of like, I need to find the thing instead of knowing that it was all inside? Was it looking for things externally?
I think it was trying to look for myself by looking externally. So I didn't know. I just knew that I know that surely we are not meant to be here to suffer in like in a job that takes up, more than half of our day for the rest of our life and doesn't bring us any happiness other than money and titles and pleasure. Like those are really big motivators, by the way. But I just knew that, look, it was my first foray into choosing what was for me. And granted, at that time, what was for me was to a certain extent external validation.
Absolutely.
Right? Because I didn't know anybody. I mean, I've been groomed to have people grade my papers and tell me this is the right thing and this is the wrong thing. So, but I also knew that, okay, it was the first step. And through taking multiple steps, through going through contrast, then you get to know who you are. Through experiencing what you don't like, what you like, then you narrow it down to, actually, this is me.
Yeah. And I love hearing people's journey for that, because we do spend a lot of our time looking externally for the thing. It's the thing that we're looking for constantly, and we go overseas for it. It's like, I'm going to find it in Europe, or I'm going to find it when I go to Bali. I'm going to find it in South America in an ayahuasca ceremony. And then it's like, but I haven't found it yet. Where is it? I'm looking. And then something clicks and you go, hang on, I think it's me. I think it's all inside of me. Did you have that sort of like lightning bolt moment for you?
I think maybe because when I set off on the journey, I set off to do only things that brought me joy. So in that sense, I was already tapping into me. So I wouldn't take a step unless I knew that this was going to bring me the joy, right? And so I think through always following that, and through all the different experiences, I came to realize, hang on, what I'm looking for is actually right here. And that big mind-blowing moment for me was when I held a Lionsgate event 2 years later. This was like, I think August 2023. This was oh my gosh, can you believe in 2021 I still don't even know what mindset was? And then in August 2023 I held my first Lionsgate event holding the space for like 10 people who also had who also didn't really understand what Lionsgate was, what a gateway was. But I just held the space, and in that moment of facilitation, I felt the most me that I have ever felt in my life. And it was that moment of, this is it.
This is it. Yeah.
This through the contrast, through the trying things out, and this work, maybe that work, this work, maybe that work, I finally came to realize this is it. This is me.
That's the thing.
Yeah, this is me. And I found it through going on that soul searching journey to find out who was me.
Yeah, I can resonate with that, because as a facilitator as well, I've sat in spaces, holding space, and I'm like, there it is. And you're channeling at the same time. Like I know what I've rocked up to women's circles events, I've held all the things, and I'm like, nothing planned. Absolutely nothing planned. I'm like, we're going with the energy today. Always. Like, I love how I get to do that, because I trust the channel. Even through like podcasting, conversations, coaching and mentoring, there's nothing planned. There's nothing scripted ever. When it's scripted, I'm awkward as shit. I'm like, and welcome to the In Life and Podcast. We have Andrea here today. Yeah, it's so like mechanical. It's so mechanical. I want to circle back to the part that you were talking about, joy. What does joy feel like in your body? How did you know that was joy?
I think the way that I found out what joy felt like in my body was that it was actually really constant. It was something that actually was so sourced from within. And that was how I differentiate, because I used to call myself a happiness chaser. And we know that that's just, you know, the worst route to go down, because
chasing
you know,
it. Yeah,
chasing
absolutely.
it. Yeah. So I would chase happiness in the form of travel, in the form of, you know, exciting adventures, you know, debauchery, whatever that is. I love a good debauchery session. So I mean, I admit it. This is a very human thing, you know. I'm not going to be all prudish and high and mighty and righteous. Like, that's just not me. But like, I mean, we're human. We're here to enjoy and have the human earthly experiences, right? So I was chasing highs all the time but then over the past few years of going through that journey of personal development, I realized when I started shifting any kind of limiting beliefs, shifting, you know, programs of unworthiness, programs of undeservingness, programs of not being able to rest, programs of not, you know, comfortable being still, not being safe around people. I think I came to realize that that joy that I had accessed from that Lionsgate event, it maintained. And it didn't matter what chaos was happening. Any emotion from that point onwards, whether good or bad, it was what I perceived to be good or bad or positive or negative. It was just very surface level.
Yeah.
And then you give it time and then it passes and it doesn't matter anymore. And you don't even latch onto it because you have that heartfelt joy that just stays within.
Yeah.
Regardless.
You become that frequency.
Yes.
And you can still experience grief. You can still experience disappointment, fear, all of the things that are, you know, we'll call them lower energy frequencies. Yeah. But when you radiate from that space of joy, that becomes your baseline.
Yeah.
And do you feel as though that's something that you have to work on or constantly connect with? Or is it something that's just it's become your default setting?
I think it's become my default setting, but it's also something that I cultivate daily. So, for example, you know, for the past 3 years, if I've been meditating every single day, cultivating this discipline of connecting to myself, connecting to my heart, connecting to my higher self, eventually we can say that we've racked up the points. You know, I've racked up all the points. So even if I go 6 months without meditating, I'm still going to be so good.
Yeah.
But at the same time, inner peace and daily joy and connection to self, even though we know that we are always connected regardless.
Yes.
But it does require discipline to be tuned in all the time, especially if we're doing this kind of work. Each of us, we are a conduit, we are a vessel, right? For energies. And that means that we have to have, maybe not have to, but it would be preferable to have a vessel that is healthy, integrated, and ready. And in order to have that, it would require that daily, maybe not daily, we could say weekly if we've racked
regularly,
up regular cultivation, regular discipline to tune in.
Tell us what that looks like for you, because we've all got different practices, especially we've learned different things. Like for me, it's like cacao daily. It's, you know, very regular journaling, sitting with self. On my shower screen, I have like affirmations and my I am statements and like those things that I connect to. I sit with my kids and we do what's called a happy sandwich and we talk about gratitude and you know, there's a lot of like, you know, deep intimacy work that my partner Cass and I do through Tantra. So that's my sort of in a nutshell. And everybody's different. And I would love to give like the listeners a takeaway. Like, what is that for you? And what is it that works so well for you where you're like, I just fucking love this so much?
For me, I love just going into my inner heart space. So that's where all the healing and all the facilitations happen. It's just I go into my inner heart space. It's a sacred space. There's a beautiful healing temple there. There's a beautiful castle there. That's where I connect to ascended masters. So that's where I connect to my higher self. You know, everything goes through the higher self. And so when I'm in there, I'm sitting there with my spirit animals, and it's just it's always to just remind myself to bring myself back to this place that no one else can really touch, this place that is so uniquely yours, this place that doesn't depend on anything else that's happening in the external. And it's a really, 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 really private space. And so when I'm in there, I mean, depending on what's going on, maybe if I'm super stressed or there's specific events happening or a message wants to come through, the heart space will change, but it will be there. When I sit in there, I do the healing work on myself. You know, I bring in all the rays, you know, the navy blue ray of God's will, for example, or the golden ray of resurrection, just bringing it, just drenching it there, you know, visiting other sacred sites, doing doing earth work as well. So those are the things that is there's so much that happens within that heart space that it's really so powerful if I cultivate it daily, as in when I do it. Other than that, I just really like putting my feet on the grass.
Oh yeah, like, it makes a difference every day.
Yes, it makes a huge difference. And every single time, sometimes I might say something and then my housemate is just like, you need to go and touch some grass.
Yeah.
It's time
go and touch some grass.
Go out and touch some grass. Okay.
Yeah.
So for me, it's earthing out. For me, it's playing with my dog. So every time I look at my dog Bear, he's got these molten lava eyes. He's a black Labrador and he's got really dark eyes. So he gives me an overflow of oxytocin every single day. So those are the main ones for me.
Yeah. And isn't it funny how like dog is God backwards and they're just full of unconditional love?
I know. And I honestly, I feel like they are, I always call Bear like, my Gaia's gift to me, because it's just the greatest gift ever. He's the love of my life, and everything, how dogs just accept you just as you are, giving you that level of unconditionality, regardless of what's happening in your day, what your mood is. And that level of unconditional love is, it's immense. I don't even have enough words to describe that. It's something that I don't think many humans are possible of.
They just keep loving. Like they just keep loving. And like mine's turned into like anxiety and attachment with my dog.
I know. We are the ones with separation anxiety.
I've got it, he's got it. We're just like, well, we'll howl without each other. Do the neighbors complain about him or me howling?
It would be me. Like my dog's just fine. I'm sure your dog's just fine as well.
Oh no, he's not fine. We're still learning. I actually want to bring in a pet psychic or a pet medium to like just translate some of like the pain that he's in when I'm not here, because I only found out recently that he is howling when I'm not here. And and it breaks my heart. And I talk to him, I can communicate with him, but to have him actually understand like it is okay, I'll be back. So I'm interstate next week, so I'm heading down to Melbourne to teach Tantra, and so I'm away for a week, and he goes to his girlfriend's house, his girlfriend Ariel. And he's with another, like a family that like one of my bestest friends. And so, and he's so good there with them. But it's just when I leave the house, the poor thing just frets.
Do you think it works out so well there because he has another dog? Friend?
I thought about, oh gosh, do I need another dog? But not ideal.
So supposedly that helps, right? Like especially with older dogs or dogs with separation anxiety, they have someone else there.
Yeah, I don't think I can like do another dog though. Like one dog and 2 kids and myself keeping us all alive and thriving.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
Yeah. So I mean, and he's beautiful. Like he came to me a bit of a wounded heart, the poor thing. When I got him, not from a rescue place, but he needed rescuing from the place that he was in. Yeah, I think there was some sort of mistreatment there. We'll put it that way, because of the way he responds to males and work boots. Those
are 2 very specific things.
Yeah. So, and that's why I want to bring someone in who can communicate with animals. And I'm like, can you tell me what's happened and what does he need to feel supported? Yeah. So,
he is so lucky to have you. Honestly, like whenever I think about animals being mistreated, like it really breaks my heart.
Cannot even. Like I can't even watch stories about it. Like I can't see things on Facebook about it. Like children and animals, I'm like, there's a special place in darkness for people like that.
Yeah. I would agree. And especially when it comes to dogs whose only purpose here really is to give you that unconditional love. Yes. And you would mistreat that? Oh my God, I'm getting emotional. Why would anyone do that? What wound do you have that is so great that you would take it out on a dog?
How much do you have to hate yourself to and be so uncomfortable within yourself to hurt an animal?
I know. Like, I mean, if you're pick a lion, Like, pick someone your own size.
Exactly. That's it. We're totally gone off topic here.
Yeah, okay. So coming back.
We can talk about dogs all day.
Podcast rule number 2.
Yeah, I love that. I want to hear about the work that you do now, because it's been quite the journey for you.
Yes.
What is it that, like, when you work with people, what does that look like?
So what it looks like is basically, so I'm certified as a theta healer and also an NLP practitioner, as well as another energy healing modality. So what that looks like is just basically speaking to the person, let's just say peeling back the onion layers to the point where they feel quite safe to actually divulge and to share what is actually going on, and not just share what's going on, but feel safe enough to actually shift the energy, the stagnant energy, the denser energy, and also the beliefs that are keeping them stuck where they're at. So anyone who works with me they are definitely going to be meditating daily, even if it's just 15 minutes. Okay, because I feel like it is so essential and crucial to create that distance between our thoughts and who we actually are.
I love that.
Because so many people are so identified with their thoughts, good or bad, doesn't matter. But I think it's important to understand that we are the observer.
Yes.
And we are not that. I mean, it's like we are that and we are also not that
yes.
at the same time. And to be able to have that distinction and have that acknowledgement of that state is really, really important. Then after that, it's about looking into, where exactly it is that they want to go in life. Who do they want to be? Because the work that I do, a lot of it is about identity upgrades. It's not just about treating the symptom. It's who do you want to be? How do you want to live? How do you want to wake up? How do you want to go to sleep? In your ideal life, what does that actually look like? Then let's look into what's stopping you from actually doing that. Do you feel that you're not enough? Do you feel that if you rest, then everything is going to just crumble? Do you feel that if you continue on this way, that people are not going to be able to relate to you? That maybe people, your loved ones will leave your life? Well, if that's the case, then are you open to that?
Yeah.
Because, I know that lots of my clients, they're always worried about, what would other people think of them? What if I lose my partner? What if I lose this friend, lose that friend? And it's just like, well, if you're really unhappy with your life right now, and they have been operating within a particular dynamic with you that does not seem really the best either. Yeah. How committed are you to the best version of you? Yeah.
And what does that mean if things or people do drop away?
Yeah.
Because when your frequency shifts, if people aren't, in that same frequency, things do fall away. People, jobs, relationships, those things can fall away. And when you have that deepest commitment to self, and when you are your first priority always, and you have to be prepared that things are going to drop away. You have to be prepared to say goodbye to things, and then also welcome things that are in alignment as well. Because if you've been presenting to the world as something that maybe not your fullest expression, you're not in your full, audaciously authentic in who you are, then you've brought people and things into your life at that frequency. But as soon as you start to shed those layers, there's going to be things that drop off. And I see that a lot with people that I work with. It's like, you're going to have to be prepared to get lonely.
Yes.
You're going to have to be prepared for an identity shift, and sometimes not as well. It doesn't necessarily mean that, your relationship's going to break down, that your family's going to disown you, your kids are going to walk away from you, and you're going to have no friends. It does not necessarily mean that at all. It could be that you are an inspiration and a light for other people to do the same.
Yes.
And you choose to go deeper in your, perhaps romantic relationship. I love seeing couples work on themselves together. Yes. Like that. Like,
it's beautiful.
In a relationship, that's sexy. It's let's do personal development together.
Yes. I fully agree.
This episode of the Enlifen podcast is proudly sponsored by the Sanctuary of Self, your portal to self-discovery and creating a sanctuary within. At the Sanctuary of Self, our philosophy is rooted in the belief that true transformation begins with knowing yourself deeply. Here you will find my signature programs. It's the home of all of my Tantra offerings, including in-person sessions in Brisbane, workshops and trainings all around Australia. I invite you to start with the Flourish Collective membership, a nurturing sanctuary for personal growth and transformation. This membership offers a greenhouse of resources, including workbooks, meditations, and soulful self-paced practices designed to help you cultivate alignment, purpose, and self-love. At only $44 per month with no lock-in contract, you can access an abundance of resources, videos, ebooks, meditations, and workshops with new content added monthly. Head to sanctuaryofself.love for all the juicy details.
I fully agree, and I wanna also, yeah, like I want to affirm what you said before, in the sense that it doesn't always have to be like that, because when you are committed to your higher self, some people might follow it, but there are also others who might want to choose to rise with you.
Yeah.
And when they choose to rise with you, imagine how deep of a bond both of you would have when both of you are rising together.
Yeah.
And that could be what it could be, family, friends, whatever.
Yeah.
But then, and also if you're on a search for a romantic partner, you don't want to attract a partner based on your wounds. You want to attract the highest version. You want to attract a partner that is compatible with the highest version of you. And if both of you happen to be on the journey of personal development, it is so sexy.
It is. It's a beautiful journey. Like it really is, because not only are you like, you're in the trenches, you're mirrors of each other, you are in shit shows dealing with your own stuff underneath the surface, but to have a bond that says we're committed to work together and support each other through this as we go through our stuff.
Yes.
And that bond is unbreakable. It's like, fuck yeah. Like that's amazing.
Yes, this is partner for life kind of stuff.
Yeah,
you know? And you know, and with the partners constantly being our mirrors of our best parts and also the wounded parts as well. And that's what it's meant to be. Like, it's not meant to just be, you know, blue skies and roses all the time. A partner that is truly your life partner, and I'm just going to put it up and I'm going to say it, they are going to be here to propel you towards your highest self.
Yes.
And no one will be able to do it, not really better than a partner, because they are going to be the ones that have access to your deepest, most vulnerable parts. And if both of you are growing together, both of you are working towards creating a safe space, not just for yourself, but for each other within that container, that is powerful.
Yes. And there's no education about relationships, especially like deep, soulful, like connected relationships. No one sat me down when I was like learning about, you know, like even sex or anything, or, you know, what relationships are like supposed to be. I was figuring it out. I was watching my parents going, oh, okay, well, that must be what marriage means. I was looking at like aunties and uncles or other people that were close to me, all the way, like if my parents were like, oh my God, such and such is getting a divorce. Oh my God, you know? And so when we model relationships from a young age, like I watched, you know, my parents go through life. There was some very, very hard times. I had, you know, my mom in one ear saying, oh, I'm only with your father for the sake of you kids in the church. And then I was okay, so if that's what a marriage is, I don't want that. I want that. Let's just pick partners now moving forward, very subconsciously, where there's not a deep level enough, you know, commitment there to be like, I want to spend my life with you. Because if I get to what my mum and dad are, that looks really fucking uncomfortable. I don't want that, thanks. So it's like, let's just pick emotionally unavailable men for like, you know, up until my current relationship. To just sustain that belief, support that belief that it doesn't have to be that way, you know?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Like the role that parents play are so much more important than just clothing us and feeding us.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. So if I were to look at, thank you for sharing about all of that, you know, with the relationship that was modeled to you by
Mum's listening too, by the way. Hi, Mum. I know that I've mentioned this before and sorry about it.
Hi, Jen's mom. Thank you for being a passive participant.
She don't have no choice.
Like, you know, like, thank you for sharing all of that, because that would be quite a vulnerable share. And I know, like, you know, with my parents, I think they just did what their parents did. It was like, I know that they loved each other, yes, but I don't know if they ever experienced that soulful connection that we had just described earlier, because it was just a done thing to do, you know. It was just, you go to uni, you get your husband / wife, you have 2.5 kids, you know, have the house, the careers, and then and this was the thing that stood out to me, the thing that my mom always said to me, and which was, I think, why it put me off so much. She always said, marriage is about sacrifice.
Yes, I heard that too.
Marriage is about
Yes.
sacrifice. And I think the reason I stayed so long in in my first marriage was because I thought that I guess I have to sacrifice, right? Because
Yeah.
otherwise, God forbid, we ended up in divorce. What would people say? What would the church say?
Oh, right.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Oh my gosh. Did you know that Andrea is like divorced?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Like,
Yeah.
so it was just, and I think, yeah, if I had known what I know now, I know that I would still, probably would have still gone on the journey. Don't get me wrong. It was a beautiful relationship, even though so many things we were incompatible in so many ways. But our communication was always on point, and because we were best friends to this day, that kept us going. There was a love there that is, I think I could actually almost say that it's almost unconditional love.
Yeah.
It's just that in that unconditional love, sometimes it's also easier to let go.
Yes.
And now, yes. And now, having gone through all that, I know what it takes to make a beautiful relationship work. It's not just the communication, but also to have that soulful connection.
Yes.
Going deep, triggering each other, but also creating that safe space for each other. And yeah, it's really, really powerful. And sometimes now, like, every now and again, I would tell my parents will ask me, how's Rob? And I'll be like, oh yeah, he's good. And their minds are so blown because they've seen how I've pioneered a new way of relating, because they literally don't know anyone who has divorced or separated and are still best friends and family. Civil, yes. But best friends and family, especially when we have no kids. So there's literally
there's no reason to be tied together still.
No reason. But we love each other so much.
Yeah.
And so they're just so impressed and proud and still mind blown in a way because they can't figure it out. But it's possible.
It is, and it takes work as well.
Yes.
Like, I look at, my mum in her marriage and relationship, and my parents have stayed together. And I know that there's always been a desire for more communication and more depth. And that was something my father just wasn't able to provide to her as well. And so when we look at the ways in which we choose our partners, like we said before, we are modeled relationships in a certain way.
Yes.
And then when we grow up and we're like, actually, I think I can change my mind, because I went through a separation about 7.5 years ago with the father of my children. And like, my mom, especially, like my family, turned around and was like, how dare you? Like, how dare you leave? That you made your bed, you lay in it, kind of thing. And I was like, you've got to understand, like, and I even said to my ex, I'm like, I love you, but I love me more. I was very much at the start of my personal development journey, really diving into it. And I said to him, I'm on this journey. I want to go through this self-discovery. I know there's more to life than this. I know there's more to me. I said, are you on the ride with me? And he was like, the fuck would you do that for? And I was like, oh, and I was like, I would go to this thing called spirit circles every week. And I would just feel like so open and so connected and like, oh my God, I'm learning about all this stuff. And I'd been on a spiritual path ever since I was 20. And so it was really deep for me, and it just wasn't a thing for him. And I wanted so deeply to connect on that level, and it wasn't there. And whilst we had 2 children, and whilst we had the house, we had the jobs, like everything on paper was nice.
Yes.
But nice isn't exciting. Nice isn't growth. Nice isn't like, okay, let's talk about stuff.
Nice.
I remember. Yeah, exactly. I don't do vanilla. Like, I'm the whole cabinet of gelato. Like, there's 16 flavors in there.
We want the taro and the creme brulee and everything in between.
Give me the chocolate, give me the bubble gum. Like,
no, I really want gelato.
We should go for la gelato.
Yes.
But I made the decision, a really, really difficult decision, because what I had modeled in my parents' relationship is that you stay in an unhappy marriage, or you put up with it, or the vows that you make in marriage. Not that I was married, I was engaged, but we hadn't even planned anything. It was just kind of the done thing.
Yes.
They were just following the process, really. It's like, oh, we've had a kid, we should get engaged.
Yes.
And so when I decided to go, hang on a second, when I connect with me, when I connect to the deepest part of me, this relationship is not fulfilling me. Like, I remember saying I'm as you know, a communicator, right? Love questions, love depth, love when people ask me questions, and I love to ask questions. Yes. And I said to him one night, like, ask me a question. I'll tell you anything. Like, what do you want to know about me?
Yeah.
And he said, I've got a question for you. When are you going to roll over and go the fuck to sleep? I want to go to sleep.
Oh my God.
And I was like, you know.
The manner of delivery left a lot to be desired.
Look, I'll say one word. Serbian.
Okay, then say no more.
Like traditional, like European man, I don't have no feelings. I don't have no depth. Like it was a very sort of like, it was a very European relationship, put it that way.
Eastern European
Eastern European relationship. And we fell in love partying.
Yeah.
Like we were in a scene where like we were on things
Yeah.
that made you feel things. And then when we got off the things, we were like, oh, that's what's left.
Maybe we need to take some more.
Yeah. Like we kind of like after we got together, like we stepped out of the partying scene. I'm like, right, let's get to know each other like sober. And it's like, do.
Yeah.
All right, cool, we'll have some kids. And like we'd been through some really traumatic things. We'd lost a pregnancy, we'd lost his father that year. And so, you know, we really bonded through trauma and working together and things. And we just kind of built on that. And then I was like, come on, there's more to life. There's more to life. And he was like, I'm comfortable. I've got my partner. I've got my kids. I've got my house. I've got my job. I've got my nice car. Like, what more do you want from life? I'm like, oh, that hurts me in the soul. Yeah, and so stepping out of that relationship,
that took guts.
That took massive guts. And my friends became my family because my family all but turned against me.
Yeah.
It was like, how dare you? You know, and then like, you know, there's been a lot of work done in that time. Like I'm very close with my family. I'm very amicable with him. Like we have a great co-parenting relationship. I get on well with his wife. Like he got the wife and he's got the life that he always wanted. He's so happy. And I'm happy for him. And I will forever be happy for him and only want the best for them.
Yes.
You know, but for me, it was like, I need to see more of the world. I need to, you know, again, externally find myself to realize, hang on, it's all internally. Go on all of the adventures that I've been on in life, study and learn all of the things, but also now because of that frequency that I was in, connecting with my partner Cass, where we're just on the same page with so many things. I couldn't have met Cass 5 or 6 years ago in the state that I was in.
Oh my God, yes. We are the same person. Like everything that you're saying, I'm just like, yep. So many parallels.
Yeah, it's like been there, done that, got the fridge magnet and the tea towel.
And isn't it quite, do you guys sometimes, you know, when you and Cass started dating, would you say that there were times where, are there moments, especially in the beginning, where you thought, I wish we met each other earlier. I wish we could have more time together. But at the same time, it's like, well, we were not those people.
We could not have, for both of us, like individually, there's not a chance that we would have connected on the same level as well. And it's like, we've got an incredible story, which we have shared on the podcast. It was the first episode that we did of season 3. We met because I had a psychic soulmate sketch done.
Ooh.
And it was such a gimmicky thing at the time, and I was like, whatever. And then when I was doing I was really called to Tantra and working with a particular school over in Perth.
Right.
And it was only because I was over there later in the year than what I had expected to as well. And I'd had this sketch done. I was talking about it with another woman there. And our teacher happened to just walk past and goes, oh my God, I know that guy. He's one of my students. And then she connected us. Like I'd already been, you know, back in Brisbane, getting on with my life. And then like, my teacher was like, oh, you know, he wants to connect with you. I've told him all about this sketch. And I was like, fuck, that's embarrassing. How desperate does that sound? But okay. And
be truthful and open and honest.
And like if I, like, you know, some of the things that Cass was attracted to when he learnt about me, like he saw a photo of me, but he was like, I want to hear her voice. And then our Tantra teacher's partner said, oh, well, Jen's got a podcast. And so he's just gone onto my podcast to hear my voice, and he resonated with my voice and what I was saying. And then I'd mentioned something in the podcast about plant medicine, and he was like, okay, we need to connect. And so we literally exchanged voice notes for 3 days straight, and then he flew over to meet me. We hadn't had a phone call. We hadn't had a FaceTime. We were just like living on a prayer, you know.
I love it. And I love that this was how it happens, because it's like when the when the connection and the energy is so right, you just cannot deny it. You know what I mean? And you will do what it takes to see it through, regardless of how it ends. Maybe it does end, maybe it doesn't, but you have to give yourself the chance to give it a go.
Absolutely. And like wholeheartedly go into it, not like pussyfoot around it going, well, I've had like failed relationships before, let me find a reason why this wouldn't work. It's like, oh no, I'm a full body fuck yes. Like, let's go.
Give it a go. And even if there are going to be moments, because it's a full body yes, right? Even if there are going to be moments where you're probably going to be like a crying heap on the ground, or in my
every
case,
time we fly out from each other,
that but it's worth it, because they're not, I would say that there are not many chances that come to us in life where it's one of those life, like this level of life altering.
Absolutely.
You just have to go all in. And I completely understand what that would feel like.
Like we trace back the moments that have happened in our life that brought us to even just wanting to learn Tantra. And then like connecting with like the same school that we were at. And I love that. I'm all about the synchronicities. I'm all about those divine moments, really. And I look at my journey that I've been through, and had it even been a year before, it wouldn't have been a frequency that went zzz, match, you know? And we've come from such different backgrounds. So yes, there's part of me that's like, oh, if only this had happened like 20 years ago, you know? Completely different experience. But then like I wouldn't have lived the way I've lived my life. I wouldn't have the children that I do now. It'd be a completely different thing. And that version doesn't exist. So we work with what we've got now.
Yes, absolutely. I love it. It like, in a way, the past few years, if you look at it from a more, I guess if you look at it from a more cosmic version, it was kind of like these two souls are being prepared for each other to meet in this time when both of them are absolutely ready for that next chapter.
It's like initiation after initiation after initiation. And it's really interesting because now, like, knowing that I had to go through everything that I have been, especially in relationships, to bring me into my relationship with Cass, it makes me go, okay, I get why those things happen now. And I have learned through hindsight, trust the fucking process. Because it didn't work out with XYZ, you know, previously, because this is where it was leading me. And so when you learn to trust life, when you learn to trust like God or source, you trust that divine timing of literally everything. That, to me, that's where the joy is. It's going, I'm in full surrender. What have you got for me, life?
What's the next adventure? Who else am I going to meet?
And it's so funny because like I was rushing to get out the door. It was last Wednesday actually, because I had a client that I was off to see. I was getting the kids out the door. We leave early because we go so far away for school. We leave at 6:45 in the morning. And I was getting out the door and I was like, oh yeah, we're on time today. This is great. Get out to the car, flat tire. And I was like, back inside, kids. And so I laughed. I was like, thank you. Because there must be a reason. A situation that I wasn't meant to be in today, or some sort of a timeline that I wasn't meant to be on, has shifted. I was like, yes. So I just called roadside assistance. They came out. I let my client know, hey, there's a chance I'll be late. I wasn't. Rang the school. Hey, the kids are going to be a little bit late. They'll be in for late slips shortly. Got my house tidied up, got a few bits and pieces done. It was great. And it was so funny. Like even the other day I was sitting outside in the sunshine. I was like, I'm going to have my cacao on the grass. It's going to be beautiful. And then I went to take like a little cute Instagram selfie and I knocked my cacao over and I was like, fuck. And then it was like, okay, well, we just go make another one and like hose off the little mat thing that I was on. Like the little things don't bother me. Like the way that like I used to let the things bother me. And now it's like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like it actually doesn't matter because whatever is happening, I just trust the unfolding of it all.
Yes, absolutely. Everything happens for a reason. I don't believe in coincidences anymore. If something that was meant to be happening today, tomorrow, next day or whatever, if that's been pushed back, delayed for whatever reason, then so be it. Like I cannot count how many times when I have, well, actually I can count, I would say 5 times this year. 5 times this year when I've woken up and I've got like, you know, a day full of calls. And sometimes I'm just feeling quite sick, or I've just had a really, really, you know, draining past week or something that I haven't fully recovered from. so many times when I'm still ready to show up. And then, but those calls would be, oh, hey, is it okay if we reschedule to next week? And I'm like, thank you, God. Yeah. Thank you, universe, for putting into action the thing that I wanted, but I would never say.
Yes.
Because I'm going to show up, okay?
Yes, that's what we do.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I'm going to show up for the calls, I'm going to show up for the clients. And it's just, and I have to say, admittedly, whenever those things happen, whenever the canceling happens, I say to myself, I'm a powerful manifest.
Yeah. Yes, that happened to me a few weeks ago because Cass was in town at the time, and I usually have a Wednesday client, which I'm out for a few hours. And it was like the day before or something, she's like, I'm really not feeling well. Like, I'm probably not going to be up to seeing you. And I was like, yes. Like, it's like more time with Cass. This is amazing.
Everything happens in the most beautiful divine timing. And I always say that divine timing isn't luck. Divine timing happens when you are the person ready to receive.
Yes. And the more that you, I guess, accept it, surrender to it, and get excited for it, the more you're just in that frequency. Like, to me, that's part of the joy frequency.
Yes. It's that, and also with zero attachment to any particular outcome.
Yeah.
Right. And, as you know, with human beings, like, for example, I'm quite an impatient person.
Same. Yeah.
I'm really, it's just, I want it. It's like, this is the thing that I want. Why can't I have it now?
Get it here now.
Yeah. And I can just imagine, if my guys were to just be like, honey, even if we dropped it in your lap right now, you would have been like, not ready to receive it. Right. Yeah. So for example, like, coming back to the topic of partners, for example, in divine timing, this is one of the things that, me and my partner talk about sometimes. We're just like, he always wished that we met earlier, but he also knows that neither of us would have been ready. And interesting story, if you have time for me to share.
Always.
Okay. So how I met, so 2 years ago, I was like, knee deep in blissful singlehood. I was so happy. I thought I'm just going to engage in casual fun for the rest of my life because, I've been married and now I've separated and all of that. And I was quite happy to just live this life. I was genuinely so happy. And then one day when I was sitting in my heart space, this handsome man, wavy dark hair in a tuxedo comes by. And I'm like, who are you? What are you doing in my meditation? And he was just like, I'm your soulmate. And I know 99.999% of women hearing that would have just dropped everything and just be, okay, tell me more. Yeah. But I went in there to prepare for that Lionsgate event. I was preparing the structure. So what I said was, can we do this some other time, please?
I'm busy. Yeah. I'm going to have to schedule in for another time.
Like, literally, I was just like, and I was impatient. I was like, can we please do this some other time? Like, I'm quite busy. And I said this to all my friends and they were like, Andy. And I'm like, and I say this to show you the level of disinterest. But then what happened, and after that, I spoke to my mentor a few weeks later. I was like, oh, did I mess it up? What if he really is the soulmate? And she was just like, just invite him back in and you never know. And so what happened after that was through every single conversation I had with this soulmate, I found out he's actually like a sacred inner twin flame. But that's a different story. So every conversation I had with him was actually a sacred transmission of what it felt like to be in divine union with someone who is completely compatible with me, intellectually, spiritually, psychologically, emotionally. For the first time, I felt what it was like to be so safe, so held, to basically to have met my match. That's the best way to describe it. And then I kind of thought, and suddenly from being so happy being single, which I genuinely was, like, I was so happy to lead the rest of my life this way. I suddenly the desire, there was this yearning now to be in relationship. Yeah. And I don't think I've ever felt that in my life, a yearning to be in committed relationship to and then when I shared that with my friends, they were just like, what? Who are you? Who are you? And I was never the kind of person that would say I yearn to be in relationship because it's such a huge word, yearning.
Yeah, right? Like that's a deep, that's coming from the waters.
Yes, it's like yearning. And I realized as well that I think prior to that, I had associated yearning with like a longing for completion. But now this is yearning from a different place. It's yearning for expansion, not for completion, because I already found that, right? And so I kind of thought, okay, I'm going to go on, when I came back to Australia, like early last year, okay, I'm going to try Hinge. I've never been on Hinge before. And I'm going to use that to do shadow work, because by that point, I had been single for 4 years. So much has changed in those 4 years. I don't even know what I'm like anymore in the context of dating. I genuinely don't. Yeah. So I wanted to see what I was like in the context of dating. Who am I? What's going to trigger me? What's new in the dating world as well? How would I navigate that? And then he happened to be one of the ones on there. He was, I think, on the second or third wave of men. So after wave after wave after wave, it's just like yes, no, no. And he was the last one remaining. And I knew that in order for me to find out even more if this could be it, I had to open and allow myself to be vulnerable even more. And that's the thing. In order to find that depth, you have to be willing to crack open and to be vulnerable. But in order to do that, you have to be able to first hold yourself in your own safety.
Yes, first. Absolutely.
Yes. And so I did that. And then, it's been a year and a couple of weeks.
Amazing.
Yeah. It was really, really beautiful.
And that's the thing, like you probably know, you guys couldn't have met at an earlier time. It just would have been like, no, that's not for me right now. Because that desire wasn't there.
Not there.
Like there was a part of me that, because it was a friend of mine who said to me, I've had this psychic soulmate sketch thing done. You should get it done too. And I'd had one done years ago. Yeah. And nothing came about of it. And I was like, this is just so wanky. Like, it feels like how desperate does it sound that like, oh, okay, I'm going to get this done. And that was all it was, is the catalyst for Cass and I to be introduced, because we wouldn't have met in the same way had I just like been in Perth and him been just floating around the city somewhere. I'm like, where are you? I can smell that you're in this city.
You need that connection, that was
the thing. Exactly right. And so, like I was like, I'd been single for a couple of years. Can't remember exactly how long it was, but like even the dating world, I was just like, this is not for me. Like I knew, I could feel that the person that I was going to be with, I wasn't going to find on the apps.
Yes.
I was like, I'm wasting my time with this. Do you know what I mean? And I just felt like they were so unfulfilling. But I've heard so many amazing stories as well of people finding their partners in that.
Yes.
It's so cool. It's so interesting. Yeah. And so like for me, like meeting someone through this, drawing being done, and then like all of the things, to me, I'm like, oh, that's a fucking cool story.
It is a really cool story. And I think it just goes to show that, like, when you're on the path, it really is an adventure. You can't make things like that up. You can't make things up, and you can't predict what the next turn is. All you can really do is to just follow your heart, follow what brings you joy, and allow yourself to just take that one next step, with no attachment to the outcome. We're not predicting what this or may not happen. Just go with it. And
exactly.
At the moment, to get that sidekick soulmate sketch done, it felt right for you.
Yes, I was a bit against it, because my friend was like, oh, they've got 30% off at the moment. I went onto the website. I'm like, the discount code's not adding on. I'm not fucking paying full price for this shit. And then like within 24 hours, I get this, like, I'm pretty sure it's an AI sketch anyway, and this sketch back and this whole report and tarot cards that go with it. But it was a black and white sketch. Yeah. And then my friend's like, pay for the colored one. I'm like, I'm not paying more money. So I paid more money and I got the colored one.
It must have felt right at the time to pay more money.
I was curiosity got
thing.
me.
That's
I was
the
like,
thing. It's the curiosity.
If?
It's the curiosity. And that's the beauty of this part. If you're like all of us, different things make us curious.
Yes.
Right. And if we allow ourselves to follow that which makes us curious, that's the beginning of the adventure. That's the beginning of the rest of your life. And like a whole new way of being.
Yes. And I've been podcasting for a few years now, and there was just something within me that was like, I really want to have a platform, a podcast. Yeah. First of all, it's uncensored. We can say whatever the fuck we want on here, right? It is the best. I have met so many cool humans. Like I've interviewed people from all around the world. What I've loved is in like when I've like done interviews with people overseas. I had one girl who was from America, digital nomad. She came to Australia and we hung out.
Yeah.
Like I showed her all around Brisbane. Like these are like friends that I've made for life.
Yes.
You know, and there was just something like people were like, what is it that you love about podcasting? Like I love conversations with people. I love meeting new people.
Yes.
I love giving people a platform to talk about their magic to the world. But there was always just something else. And it's like, podcasting, unless you make it big, unless you're charging people for advertising, there's a lot of energy that goes into it without, from a business perspective, there's no massive ROI on that.
Yeah.
You know, but I love it. And I always want to I get so excited for podcasting season. But if it hadn't been for my desire for that and going onto a Facebook group, putting the call out for, hey, I'm looking for guests, connecting with a guy over in Perth to talk about the Akashic Records, get him on the show. We talk nothing about Akashic Records, but we talk about masculine and feminine and conscious relationships. And then him talking about his partner who's a Tantra teacher to then messaging me going, hey, I would love if you wanted to get my partner on the show, to me going, what is Tantra, to her, and her going, the first principle is know thyself. And I was in the middle of writing a program called Know Thyself, to then me going, I want to study Tantra with you, to her going, I'll be over in Sydney in a few months if you want to come over there and learn it, to me going, yes, I'll be there. Actually, I'm too burnt out, I'm not going to make it. And she goes, okay, we'll come to Perth. And I'm like, okay, I'm off to Perth. Like, do you know what I mean? All because I felt the call to podcast.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Like, you were following what excited you at the given moment.
There was nothing that was like, I have to podcast because this is like, this is part of it. This is a step of a process. There was an inner whisper. And the amount of cool people that I have met through this journey, the amount of lives that get touched, because this is listened to all over the world. I watch the numbers and I'm like, I'm big in India. I'm in Argentina. Like, I'm big in Asia. I don't even know if they can understand me, but they're listening to me.
We do learn English in Asia.
It's so funny. Like, I look at the numbers and I look at, you know, the geographics of it, and I'm like, this is cool. And it's people's messages that then get to have a whole new platform. It's giving their voice a frequency in a space that they wouldn't have been able to connect to had they not had their own podcast or been a guest on another show. And so I'm all about like, hey, let's collaborate with our messages and like share that with the world. And the feedback that I get, not just from my mum, thanks mum, but other people that are like, wow, I got so much out of that, or I've listened to your podcast and holy fuck, it's made an impact for me. To me, that's the ROI.
Oh yeah.
That's absolutely. Like, there is so much more that I get out of that. But had I not followed that whisper, I wouldn't be where I am today. One, in business, and two, in my relationship, which is bigger than all of it.
Yes.
You know, because it was those string of like divine events that happen.
The breadcrumbs.
Exactly. And it's like, I want to just follow my joy. Like, and then like the call even to Tantra, like that's a whole different conversation. It's like I'd done hypnotherapy, psychotherapy, NLP, theta healing. Like I'd done the mind stuff. I'd done the energy stuff. I'd done past life regression therapy. And I'm like, nope, let's get into the body. Let's get into pleasure. Let's get into eros, somatics, all of that. Tantra's the way of that. The esoteric philosophy of it. I'm like, oh yeah, get that in me, right? And it was my passion. And I was like, I don't even know why I'm here training this. I was single at the time. Like, it wasn't like I was like, oh, I want to explore Tantra to be, you know, in a relationship where we do tantric practices. I was like single and like, I didn't even know what this looks like, but this feels good. Like, I feel like I have to be there. I have to be in Perth. I have to be in the room in July.
I think it opened you up.
It did.
Like, you know, learning that tantric practices and learning the philosophy and all that, it opened you up to more.
To so much more. And I, as a self-confessed growth junkie, I'm like, more of that, please. Like, I'm like, yes, like that gets my rocks off. It's like learning more of the things. like learning so many different things and then integrating them, and also cherry picking as well. It's not that I want to just collect certificates. So it's like, oh, there's a new offering. It used to be that way back in the day.
I think we all start off that way.
Absolutely.
It's like because there's a particular high in learning a new modality, because in order to learn the new modality, you have to go through the modality, right? And then you experience that high, and then when you're done integrating, you're just like, oh yeah, I want the next one.
It's really funny because it was after hypnotherapy, psychotherapy, and NLP that there was this guy I had connected with, and he lived interstate. He lived in Sydney, and we'd met through a network marketing thing. And because he lived there, I was like, I need to get to Sydney. I need to go study something in Sydney so I can like really connect with him. It was so funny. So I'm like online Googling like what's in Sydney. That's how I got into theta healing. It was like this pretty boy carrot dangling in front of me. They got me into theta healing. And I shit you not, I get into the room of theta healing and it spoke to me in my soul. And I was like, oh, they had to dangle like a pretty boy in front of me to get me into the room here.
They dangled a pretty boy to get you into theta healing room. They dangled aliens to get me into the theta healing room. Like literally, we were to do the comparisons. They dangled the Arcturians for me to get to the theta healing room. Oh my God,
I was like, no, the guy, I'm going to Sydney. It's like, oh, hey, I'm coming to Sydney to study. We should totally catch up. Kind of thing. And like literally nothing happened. But I knew that once I was in the classroom and it's like, oh, we're talking about this, and this. And like, again, the same with Tantra. And when I interviewed Kathy on the podcast and she just spoke to me, I was like, I get it. Thank you. Like, I get why I'm here now. Like, I understand it.
Yes.
But it's funny, like the things that get dangled in front of us, like you've got to follow those things.
Yes, you have to follow the things. And the thing is, it's one of those things where it's like, there's so many different realities, right? And if you don't follow it, it's like, are you happy to one day potentially regret?
Yeah. Are you happy to be boring?
What could have eventuated from that?
Yeah.
Because we know that even though, that's the carrot that's dangled, it's not really the carrot that's dangled.
Yeah.
It's actually something so much more fulfilling.
Exactly. Like I never even like connected with the guy in Sydney, and I kept going back for more of the theta healing training. I was like, I love this. Like I'm learning about myself and I'm learning about all of these things.
Yes.
And that was then like a new trajectory that put me on to start really working with energy as well.
Yes.
And I love those moments, and you've got to listen to those whispers, but you can't hear them if your mind is so busy. You can't hear those if you're not sitting in regular meditation or stillness or quietness, because you're just so busy with the thoughts and the mind and the stuff and things.
Yes. And identifying with all of the stuff that's actually happening in your mind. And that's why it's so important to be able to create that distance.
Yes.
And imagine like if we could bring this if we could inject this new way of being and shape a corporate culture in a different way. Imagine having heart-centered CEOs and heart-centered leaders, like the ones who actually have a stake in the environment.
Could you imagine having heart-centered politicians?
Oh my gosh, that's like a hopeless dream right now.
It is like could you imagine that in order to get into office, you had to sit in plant medicine first?
Oh, that should be part of the program.
I feel like I'm manifesting that for like, maybe I won't exist. Maybe I'll be long gone by the time that happens. But like, surely if I'm like thinking it in the quantum field, that timeline now exists. Can we all, anyone listening to this, I don't care whether you're in India or Asia or wherever you are, can we just start like collectively creating that? Because that feels good.
Let's have more leaders exploring.
Open, living from their heart, living from a space of like, let's heal this fucking earth, shall we?
Let's do it. Let's see if we can bring politicians into their heart rather than, I don't know, draining the life force from babies, for example.
Exactly.
Or like misusing sex magic.
Exactly.
All of which are powerful things, but can we use it for the good of humanity?
Good.
Yeah, the greater good. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Gosh, we could talk for hours. We absolutely will do another episode at some stage. Before we wrap this up, I do have one last question for you, Andrea. What is the meaning of life?
Oh, this is really possible. I was about to say, this is a really, really great question that has a potential for a great answer. The meaning of life, I would say the meaning of life is an adventure. It's an adventure to be enjoyed.
Yeah.
That is when you dig deep enough, you come to this particular state of beingness, and you know that the meaning of life is just to be. It's just like an adventure to be had.
Yes, it's so true.
Yes,
I love that. I love that. We will link to all of the ways in which people can contact you and connect with you in the show notes. Andrea, you are a fucking cosmic superstar. Thank you so much for being here and joining me on the Enlighten podcast.
Oh, thank you, Jen. It's been such a fun conversation. I am so recharged and refreshed for the rest of the day. I really do feel like we're like, the similar people, and it's like, the friendships that we could have.
We're off for gelato, so we'll see you in the next episode.
Yay, see you, everyone.
Thank you so much for joining me for this episode. I hope you love the Enlighten podcast, and the biggest compliment you can give me is subscribing to this podcast, sharing it, and leaving a rating and review. Feel free to follow me on Instagram. My handle is @JenHamiltonOfficial, and the podcast handle is Enlightened_podcast. You can also find the video version on YouTube on my channel. Just search Enlightened and don't forget to hit subscribe. Have a beautiful day and enjoy living the enlightened journey of life.